He actually caught HIV, like having like a lot of women.
See, it's a cold world that we living in, y'all. Bad enough you got Diddy around here passing out herpes, but you have inmates who are in prison who knows that they're HIV positive or they have full-blown AIDS, and they have made a pact. When they get out, they're going to infect as many people as possible. See, this is why a lot of y'all that have been going to them Diddy parties, man, like PD cakes and all them, man, y'all need to go get yourself checked. Or better yet, I bet y'all using that medication that keeps you under.
Here it is, the first videos of Diddy in prison.
Here we go again. Diddy has just been placed on watch in the New York prison, which has seen multiple deaths in recent years. One through stabbing and numerous through...
Diddy just got caught with homemade alcohol in his jail cell. A couple weeks ago, he told the judge that this is his first time being sober in 25 years.
Patriots, the news just in is that the diddler was attacked with a knife.
Diddy been going through it in there. This man done aged more in 6 months than he done aged every year he's been outside. I get it, jail is stressful, but damn, you look ready to fall.
He got old real fast. He went to jail, his hair was jet black, like mine, and the next day he was like a full, all I saw from was the raccoon pictures from the courtroom. When they drove him, it was looking looked like a raccoon. That's it. Like I was like, when did this happen?
I'm just curious, what he done?
Damn.
Shout out to Magic Johnson, a real black billionaire who wasn't all freaked off, who actually made business, bank exchange, created dollars in real black neighborhoods so real black families could have that opportunity just like everybody.
He actually caught HIV, like having like a lot of women.
Oh yeah, let's just go down the rabbit hole of all of his sins.
I'm just saying.
You want to know what's wild about that though? He faced that head up.
He did.
He didn't stop doing what he's done.
He an advocate. Now he did that. And
period. Listen to me. He faced that head up. How many dudes is running around undetectable? G?
To New York City. And I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah, that's what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
in the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. Yes, I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild. It was
so no parents were
Mary
okay?
J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than that.
Right here from day one, we used to wake up and, pause, but like just back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the frosted.
Across.
Wait, the Tusi.
Yeah, the Tusi. That's what they call.
I found out. I talked to my guy because I wanted to be informed. Because people was calling it Tusi, that's calling it the Tunchi. I didn't know which one it was, so I talked to my guy, and my guy filled me in, and then it made perfect sense. Tusi.
Talk to him.
With Jaguar.
Let's talk.
Education.
101.
So Tusi is the but they take the ketamine and cook it up. I've been saying it.
Yeah.
How many times I got these is wild. Young Miami can take all that pressure. She on the Tusi.
That needed to be with us at all times. You know, we'd have the joints on us. We would have the mushrooms on us. We had a kind of a Diddy pack is what they would call it. And we would keep a satchel on us. And that's what we would have in that satchel. To me as Wild King nights. And what a Wild King night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil, Astroglide, candles, incense, liquor, lights, tons of toiletries, drug businessman who rise to the top because he was such a powerful and, smart, educated man. I had no idea that he had this other side to him. And when I started to get exposed to his lifestyle, I started to really realize, this guy has an addiction. It's not just, once every few weeks. It's every day, every hour.
Hey, yo, Phil, can y'all come straighten it up over here? Not looking luxurious.
Initially, when you walk in, you have to start to clean up the mess and the wreckage that's left from the room. And that's the alcohol that's halfway open. Some bottles are cracked, glasses are cracked. There's baby oil everywhere on the floors in the bathroom. There's lube everywhere, half open, some of it oozing off the sides. And you have to get all that stuff, clean it up. Luckily, I would wear even a mask and I would wear gloves because it was.
What if the biggest scandal surrounding Diddy didn't stop at the courtroom doors, but followed him straight into prison? Just when the public thought the chaos couldn't get darker, whispers from behind bars started leaking out, and they're messy, disturbing, and impossible to ignore. From shocking health rumors to alleged secret relationships and a lifestyle that reportedly hasn't slowed down one bit. The story taking shape is less about redemption and more about consequences. And if even half of what's being said is true, this might be the most unsettling chapter of the Diddy saga yet. Prison was supposed to be the full stop, the hard reset, the place where the noise finally dies down and excess gives way to consequences. But if you believe what the streets are saying right now, that silence never came. Instead, the chaos allegedly packed its bags and followed him straight inside. Sources are claiming that the moment those doors closed, the controversy didn't fade, it mutated. What was once whispered in studios, hotels, and after-hours rooms is now being murmured through cell blocks and visitor lines. And the story being painted is that confinement hasn't brought calm, reflection, or restraint. If anything, people are saying it's just a new setting for the same storm. The word floating around is that prison didn't humble him the way many expected. According to those claiming inside knowledge, the lifestyle didn't abruptly end, it simply went underground, trading luxury suites for locked doors and watchful eyes. The streets are talking about strange behavior, rule-breaking, and a pattern that looks uncomfortably familiar to anyone who's followed his name over the years. None of this is confirmed, but the consistency of the rumors is what's raising eyebrows. When too many unrelated voices start repeating the same themes, people start listening, even if they don't know what to believe yet. What really fuels the intrigue is how fast these whispers started circulating. Almost immediately, there were claims that prison wasn't the reality check the public imagined, but another chapter in a story that refuses to slow down. Sources say guards, inmates, and outsiders alike have been trading stories, each one darker than the last, each one reinforcing the idea that chaos seems to orbit him no matter where he goes. The narrative forming online isn't about a man laying low or keeping his head down. It's about controversy finding new ways to surface, even behind bars. And that's why this moment feels different. This isn't just gossip about a celebrity in trouble. It's the sense that the environment changed, but the energy didn't. The streets are claiming that prison was supposed to be the end of the madness, yet somehow it's become another backdrop for it. Whether these rumors are exaggerated, distorted, or closer to the truth than anyone wants to admit, one thing is clear. The conversation didn't stop when he went in. If anything, it got louder, messier, and far more unsettling. The first real shock didn't come from a headline or a leaked document. It came from people's eyes. As Diddy appeared in court, fans and critics alike started noticing changes they couldn't ignore. The weight loss looked sudden, almost drastic. His face appeared more drawn, his energy noticeably lower, and the confidence he once carried so effortlessly seemed replaced by exhaustion. Social media did what it always does in moments like this. It zoomed in, froze frames, compared photos from years ago to now, and started asking questions long before anyone said a word. Visuals have a way of igniting speculation faster than facts ever could. And soon the conversation shifted from legal strategy to whispered concerns about his health. People weren't just talking about stress anymore. They were wondering what else could cause someone to look like they'd aged years in a matter of months. That speculation only intensified as the trial went on. Some argued it was pressure, others said it was guilt, and a louder group insisted stress alone couldn't explain such a dramatic transformation. The rumor mill didn't need confirmation. It fed itself. Every new appearance, every photo, every grainy clip became fuel. And just as the public was trying to piece together what they were seeing, the narrative took another turn, because the moment he entered prison, the whispers didn't stop. They escalated. Once he was behind bars, the story shifted from courtroom optics to survival. The streets started buzzing with claims that prison life hadn't been quiet or uneventful. Sources began alleging contraband issues, saying he'd already run into trouble for violating rules meant to keep order inside. There were murmurs of violence, too. Talk of an altercation, of him being placed under watch, of concern for his safety in a facility already known for tension. None of it confirmed, all of it unsettling. What had once been framed as a legal downfall now sounded, according to the rumors, like a daily fight to maintain control in an environment where status doesn't protect you the way it does on the outside. And just when the conversation was simmering at a steady boil, a familiar name stepped back into the spotlight. Jaguar Wright entered the chat, and with her came gasoline. Known for saying the things others won't, Jaguar didn't introduce new rumors so much as amplify the ones already circulating. She framed the situation as a contrast between accountability and secrecy, repeatedly hinting that the truth has a way of surfacing no matter how long someone tries to bury it. Her tone wasn't cautious, it was confrontational. To some, she sounded reckless. To others, she sounded like someone finally saying out loud what people have been whispering for years. Either way, her comments pushed the story into a new gear and dragged it deeper into the public consciousness. What made her involvement hit harder was that she didn't stand alone. By the time she spoke up, people already had names in mind. Online, audiences began connecting dots on their own, revisiting old interviews, resurfacing past rumors, and re-examining relationships that once seemed harmless or irrelevant. This wasn't about proof, it was about patterns. Long-standing industry whispers that had been brushed aside as gossip were suddenly being recontextualized, and viewers felt like they were watching pieces of a puzzle slide into place in real time. Whether those pieces actually belonged together is still up for debate, but the engagement came from the feeling that the audience was one step ahead of the story. And no name resurfaced more consistently than Usher's. His connection to Diddy has been public for decades, dating back to when Usher was still a teenager, living under his mentorship in an industry known for blurred boundaries. Over the years, Usher himself has spoken openly about being exposed to an adult lifestyle at a very young age, comments that once felt reflective but now sound far more loaded in hindsight. Add in his later legal troubles involving STD-related allegations, documented in court filings and widely reported at the time, and it's easy to see why people keep circling back to him. None of this proves anything, but it explains why the conversation won't die. The overlap of timelines, public statements, and unresolved questions keeps pulling his name back into the narrative, whether anyone intends it to or not. At this point, the story isn't just about one man in prison. It's about how physical changes spark questions, how whispers behind bars raise the stakes, how a controversial voice reignited old rumors, and how the audience itself started tracing connections that had been hiding in plain sight for years. Whether these threads lead to truth or just louder speculation remains to be seen. But the reason people can't look away is because the story keeps evolving, and every chapter feels more unsettling than the last. As the story keeps unfolding, the conversation inevitably circles back to the lifestyle allegations, the ones people say were never really a secret, just ignored for years. According to former insiders and voices claiming firsthand knowledge, this wasn't about occasional indulgence, but a pattern built around excess, dependency, and escalation. Drugs weren't described as party favors. They were described as necessities. The streets are claiming that certain substances were always within reach, that everything had to be chemically enhanced to keep the energy going, the control intact, and the nights stretching longer than they naturally could. When people talk about the so-called freak-offs, they aren't just talking about sex. They're talking about an environment fueled by substances, blurred consent, and routines that looked less like celebration and more like compulsion. That framing is important because it shifts the narrative away from shock value and towards something darker. Addiction masked as indulgence. What makes these claims linger is the consistency. Different people, different moments, same themes. Former staff, associates, and industry voices have all painted similar pictures over the years, describing a man who allegedly couldn't function without a carefully curated mix of substances and stimulation. The accusation isn't just that drugs were present, but that they were central, that things allegedly couldn't happen without them. And when addiction enters the conversation, the story stops being about scandal and starts becoming about deterioration. People aren't just asking what he did. They're asking how long it's been spiraling and who else was caught in the orbit. That's where Cassie's court testimony becomes impossible to ignore. Unlike rumors or anonymous claims, her statements exist in a legal setting, under oath, and they gave the public something solid to anchor all this speculation to. When she spoke about repeated infections and the toll that lifestyle took on her body, it reframed the conversation overnight. This wasn't about diagnosing anyone or assigning labels. It was about understanding why health-related rumors suddenly felt plausible to so many people. If someone close to him testified that constant exposure led to ongoing medical issues, it naturally raised questions about the broader environment and the long-term consequences of it. For many watching, that testimony was the moment gossip started to feel uncomfortably real. From there, public reaction shifted fast. What once played like messy celebrity drama started sounding like a safety issue. Online, the tone turned from curiosity to concern, from jokes to anger. Some people expressed fear, not just for alleged victims, but for anyone who might still come into contact with him if these rumors held weight. Others were outraged, questioning how much behavior gets excused when fame and power are involved. And a growing group voiced disbelief, not that these allegations existed, but that it took this long for them to be taken seriously. The moral reckoning wasn't just about one man's choices. It was about an industry that allegedly looked the other way for decades. That's why this moment feels bigger than celebrity gossip. To a lot of people, it represents the collision of unchecked power, addiction, and accountability finally catching up. It raises uncomfortable questions about who gets protected, who gets silenced, and how many warning signs have to pile up before they can't be ignored anymore. The fear and anger aren't coming from nowhere. They're coming from the realization that these stories, if even partially true, have real-world consequences far beyond headlines. And that's where the story leaves us without clean answers. Are the prison rumors exaggerated, distorted by fear and speculation? Or are they the natural fallout of years of excess, finally crashing into reality? Is this what accountability looks like when it arrives late, loud, and messy? Or is the truth somewhere in the middle, buried under rumor, reputation, and outrage? One thing is certain, the questions aren't going away. And the more people talk, the harder it becomes to look away from what might come next.